Dus, dan moet je starten. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you all very much for coming to this exhibition on the First World War, and especially to our performance on the Armenian genocide. Although the topic is quite difficult and it's quite complicated, I will start with trying to summarize the main concepts and context of it. After that, my three group members will show you a performance. They have all created a role based on a character that actually existed, and they will provide you with some primary perspective and tell you about their character's experience of the genocide. Let's start with the context. Does anybody know where we are? We're not in the Netherlands anymore.
Yeah, Armenia.
Yeah. Turkey? Yeah, we're serving Turkey and Armenia because during the First World War it was part of a bigger empire.
The Ottoman.
Yeah, the Ottoman Empire. Thank you very much. The Ottoman Empire was a big empire, and due to this big size, it inhabited different cultural groups with different languages and religions. However, the essence of it was Muslim. The government was mainly Muslim, and therefore the other religions such as Christianity and Jews, they were viewed as second-class religions, and the people who believed in them were viewed as second-class citizens. The performances are taking place in the summer of 1915. Since May 1915, the deportations of Armenians into the Syrian desert and to concentration camps has become official government policy, but also before that there was a lot of discrimination. Christians had to wear red headgear so that they could be distinguished from society, and there were many small rules that just distinguished the Muslims and the Christians. Also, for example, the Hamidian massacres of 1894 until 1896 had taken place, which was in the town of Hamidia, and the whole town where Christians lived was wiped out. So, although the deportations just really started, the discrimination has been going on for a long time now. To express the traumatic experience that people had, the Armenian victims, one woman, Armenian survivor of the genocide, wrote a poem, which is called "What I Have Seen with My Eyes." What I have seen with my eyes and have heard with my ears, I do not wish the mountain wolves and the foe of her fate to see. How shall I endure, my beloved? How shall I endure, dear mother? Poor mothers threw up their infants and fled, barefooted and naked, emaciated children. Sick people raised their eyes to God. How shall I endure, my beloved? How shall I endure, dear mother? Poor mothers threw up their infants and fled, barefooted and naked, emaciated children. Sick people raised. I have no rest, no peace, and no sleep. I close my eyes and always see dead bodies. I lost my kin, my friends, my land, and my home. How shall I endure, my beloved? How shall I endure, dear mother? This world became a hell and a graveyard. Mother and child were left ownerless, homeless. Nobody held the enemy's hand. Our land and house were left to the Turkish beast. One of the people that was responsible for this genocide was a political leader, a Turkish leader, part of the Committee of Union and Progress, Enver Pasha.
What a difficult speech to write. How could I possibly formulate this? The Ottoman Empire should be cleaned up of the Armenians and Lebanese. We have destroyed the former by the sword. We shall destroy the latter through starvation. Yeah.
Oh, you finally arrived. Well, I know. We lost a war. And this may be a major loss to us. We tried to push back the Russians, but we miserably failed. Now, I want to make one thing clear to you. That this is not the fault of us, the Committee of Union and Progress, leaders of the young Turks. You want to know whose fault it is? Well, I've been earning your trust for the past few years, and I assume that the majority of you guys see me as a hero. Now, the ones to blame are the Armenians. This problem has already been going on for a very, very long time, but it's getting out of control. The Armenians are forming a bigger and bigger problem to our society. We, the Young Turk Party, have tried to control them, or, for example, increasing the taxes for the Christians, which most of them are Armenian, and in many different ways. But still, they're ignoring the government, and even more and more than ever before. Instead of listening to our incredibly successful government, they tend to listen to Christian governments, and in this case, the Russian government. And we all know that the Russians are one of our biggest enemies, if not the biggest enemies. And our former leader, Sultan Abdulhamid II, always said, loyalty above all. Well, I can say you one thing, the Armenians are not being loyal and are disobeying this rule. Now, in order to solve this, we have to put the Armenians, we have to let the Armenians go further away to villages where they can't disturb our society anymore. And we can put this one way or another, but it simply comes down to this. The Armenians are not loyal and are betraying their own country. We have to let the Armenians learn justice. And have to let them learn to have respect for their own country and our government. And I assure you that everything is going to be alright.
No, nothing's going to be alright. Pain and depression has become a constant in everybody's lives. I still remember what happened that day, the day the Turks came to our little village of Kezmigezit. It still haunts me. They'd called upon all men to assemble in the main square, and all men above 16, some hardly even men, and as my husband said his goodbyes, tears rushing down his face, he chose not to disobey those barbarian people. And he made that choice consciously, as my oldest daughter had come running to us shortly after the notice to tell us that her husband, Abdelhamid, had tried to escape, disguised as a woman, and was caught by the Turks and stabbed and left to rot on the street. The pain, the guilt that I feel the most from that day is from my little boy, Paul. He's nearly 15 years old, and, well, he wanted to say goodbye to his family. He wanted to accompany his older brothers and his father and say goodbye, and he went to the main square, but when he didn't return, I knew what the gendarmes had done, the soldiers, and especially after he didn't return, after the incurable sound of gunshots. Anyways, the day after the butchery of the Turks, they called upon all women to evacuate their houses, take their children, take any of their needs, and just be taken to some unknown place. And as a mother, I wanted the best life for my children, so I got them Turkish headgear, and we got to our hiding place. But they found us, and we were taken to a square where were hundreds of hopeless children and women just hoarded, and even one soldier, he had the audacity to wish us a happy journey. Well, I know now what the soldiers are doing. Rape and mutilation and torture is normality now, pretty much. And my brother's wife, pregnant at 8 months, well, she had her and her unborn baby's life taken away from her, merely because of a bet between two soldiers. A bet which was, is she pregnant with a girl or a boy? Babies are being thrown into rivers. Women are shooting themselves as we walk. It disgusts me. To save my daughters from these atrocities, I chose to cover their faces, their beautiful little faces, in mud, and I hoped for the best. Well, we know now where we've been deported to. The Syrian desert, Deir el-Zor. The desert is no home to humans. As I sit here talking to you today, I am starving and thirsty, deprived of my children, widowed, and left here with only one piece of bread given to me every 2 weeks. The last I saw of my children was when I was with 4 of them out of 7, and we found a caravan. It was the best home we'd had in a month, and my youngest, Aurora, was guarding, and we took turns, and the Kurds had come. Yes, the Kurds and the Turks were after us, and I knew immediately what the Kurds wanted. They just wanted my daughters, and they called me names, called me worn out, and I just sat there, seeing them take away my own children, and for that, I wrote a poem. I want to get up, but not to loosen my belt. I don't want my child's words to roll down my bosom. My child's words are bitterer than poison itself. Don't cry, dear mother. I'll come to you in a fortnight. I'll come in your dreams.
Long live the
What's
mother.
that? What's that noise?
Shh. Long live our people. Shh. Hands up! Line up! Any Armenians in here? No? Sorry for the inconvenience. I was interrupted midway from my patriotic song. I like to sing patriotic songs, to keep my moral high, to remember why I'm doing this. The song was about an Armenian in the Ottoman army. The Armenian fought for our army. However, he helped his Armenian friends. That is considered treason. Imagine that. That an Armenian in our army helps the enemy, but he fights for our country or empire. No way they are sub-level to us, the Turks. I absolutely disgust them, the Armenians. They multiply like animals and bring foreign beliefs to our empire. My name is Erhan, by the way. I am a Turkish infantry soldier serving in the Ottoman Empire. Last week, I was assigned to the town of Kazakh, where I was to purge the town from all Armenians present. We like to go purging in one of the towns. When we get there, we first find a man, but we execute him because we don't want any resistance. Because this isn't a war, this is a duty we must fulfill as an empire. Then we find the woman. The woman, if they're beautiful enough, they go to other Turks for Turkification. However, most of them are just killed. And the children, they are sent with some of the women on deportation or killed. And if they're young enough, they're sent to an orphanage for Turkification. However, don't think the officers appreciate this kind of behavior from us. Although it is our duty, they use us as henchmen. We are on rations, and we are slim, thin, and underfed. Well, they just sit on their bums and eat the proper food. However, we may do anything to any woman we want. That reminds me why I need to fulfill this duty.
First of all, I'd like to ask for an applause for our three actors. while now and taken in a lot of information. So I think it's good to maybe have a brief moment to have a discussion or ask some questions. Like, do you have any questions for us or points or thoughts you'd like to share? Okay, that's no problem because I have some questions for you. First of all, who remembers studying the First World War as part of their history curriculum in high school? Please raise your hand. Okay, and did any of you study the Armenian genocide? And who of you studied the Second World War in their high school? And who studied the Holocaust or the Jewish genocide? So, as you may see, the Holocaust is a very well-known event. The Armenian genocide is not. How do you feel about this, and how do you think this could happen? Any thoughts?
Politics.
Thank you. That is indeed true. One of the reasons is that Turkey has never actually admitted it was a genocide. There wasn't an international court back then. So there wasn't an international court, and countries, even nowadays, they've never actually taken a moment to put Turkey to try or to face their consequences that happened while over 6 million Armenians were killed in the genocide.
And Turkey is also still denying it today, which makes it very hard for it to actually be taught in history lessons and to be an important part of the First World concept of genocide in wars or anything like that.
And so, do you think that Turkey right now should still face the consequences of what they did over 800 years ago, or do you think that it is just history and happened so long ago and nobody's alive who experienced it back then that we should just let it go? Who thinks they should still face the consequences? Please raise your hand.
May I raise a question first?
Yeah,
Has there been a ruling from the United Nations whether there has or hasn't been a genocide? Do you know?
No, not yet. Britain did try multiple times to imprison some of the leaders or get Turkey to pay for what they've done. But many countries did not want to risk their good relationship with the country or were depending too much on it. So there has never been an actual ruling against it.
Is there solid evidence?
Yeah, there was a major decrease of the Armenian population, first of all, and just this testimonials. There's also the way we also gathered our research was from primary research, from testimonials, from eyewitnesses, from poems, from songs, from stories, which then also we can't deny that people haven't experienced that.
And also the deportations did become official government policy, so only under the cover of military necessity, so not under the cover of it's genocide because we want to kill people we don't like. So there's evidence that actually happened, only the motives and why it happened is not.
And the concept that it was a genocide was only much later after it actually happened, because it was the first of its kind, even though many people that think the Holocaust might be it, but because the concept of genocide was the first in the Armenian genocide, and therefore, as also Hitler who also says, who after all still speaks of the annihilation of the Armenians, which is a quote that is quite strong and powerful to show how people thought about then, how political leaders think about it.
Also, when it happened, the word genocide did not even exist yet, so it had never happened before its precedence. Well, thank you very much. We hope you have to see yourself.
Well done, guys. It's pretty surreal. Just as an aside, I wrote a master's thesis last year on this topic. And it's really surreal that the next year, with no prompting whatsoever for me, they knew that that's what I was doing. But with no prompting, it's so surreal and wonderful to have you guys to want to kind of air this out a little bit. It's really, that was really good job.
Well done.
Good job, guys. You've seen it? Sorry? You've seen it? I think you've seen everything.
Read everything.
Yeah.
Goed gedaan, jongen.
Ah! Right. I haven't seen furs yet. I need to go. Where are they? That's right. With Brian.
Ja, nee, ik heb maar één. Ik was toch de presentator, dus ik maakte het uit. Maar ze hadden ze ook niet gedaan, dus ik heb
Oh, heb jij het ook gezien? Heb jij het gezien?
Is het veel?
Ja, wat denk je? Ja, alsof jij dat gaat. Ik een laptop niet.
Ja, ik snap.
Als je dus naar boven gaat en daardoor hebben Gina, David, Damian en Liv een model gemaakt van een loopgraf en zo. Dat is ook wel
Ja.
vet.